Here we are with week 2 of the Bidding War League. So my opponent for this week is Sethyas, one of my friends from the Ion Game Corner. He's been with Ion for a long time, and as such, me and him have battled quite a few times. So I'd like to say I have some idea of how he battles. There are certainly people I've battled more that I have even more familiar with, but there's definitely things that I should be expecting when I go in there. Um, a few trademark Pokemon that he has on his team that I am very used to seeing on his team. Skarmory is one of them. And if I recall correctly, back when Cresselia was still in the game for the most part, he used that quite a bit as well. So it's just some things that I can kind of plan for. Um, but overall, he has a team that I'm not entirely used to seeing with him. So what he's got currently is Whimsicott, Tyranitar, Gyarados, Garchomp, Heatran, Tapu Lily, Skarmory, Articuno, the Cantonian version, Suicune, and Cresselia. So one of the things that has recently come up with me and him talking, mostly because it's come to the forefront now, is how much I hate fighting Cresselia. Back when Cresselia was at its peak of popularity, I hated the thing so much. So, and I knew and I know that Sethyas knows how to use it. So, I had to have a plan to deal with it. Luckily enough, I have Gothitelle. Since Gothitelle can trap Cresselia, and Cresselia has no way of escaping Shadow Tag outside of either using the item Shed Shell or using a move that KOs itself. So, with that, I should be able to effectively trap Cresselia, or on the off chance that Sethyas does decide to use Shed Shell on it, I'll at least know that, and that's only a one-time escape, and I can get it again. So I know one of the Pokemon I absolutely have to bring for this is Gothitelle, because I don't have anything else that will really tackle this Cresselia very well. So, with Gothitelle, I went for a trick set on it, because one of the things that Cresselia hates the most that I've come to learn is being choiced into something, especially when that choice item is not Specs. If it's Specs, it might be able to deal some respectable damage, but if it's not Specs, it's not going to do much anyways with its attacks with its special attack stat. So we've got Trick and my Choice Scarf on the Gothitelle. So that leaves me with 3 move slots for that one. So I decided that instead of trying to brute force my way through the Cresselia with Gothitelle, I would go with a Fake Tear set just to drop its special defenses down to where I need it to be in order to start KOing it with Shadow Ball. So on the off chance that Sethyas does not bring Cresselia against me, I'll also pack Psychic on there so I can do the same kind of strategy but with some other passive Pokemon like possibly the Suicune or the Articuno. So I know that I needed Gothitelle, so Gothitelle's on the team. So some other things that have me greatly worried about his team was the Suicune. Suicune is another Pokemon that I've struggled with in the past, so I know I need as good of a counter for it as I can get. The problem being is that my best counters for it are grass types, and Suicune learns a plethora of ice type attacks, and if it starts setting up that my grass types will mean nothing against it. So I have to play very carefully around a Suicune if it shows up. So I decided to bring both Tangrowth and Tapu Bulu for this reason. just to make sure that I can keep this thing in check and just nail it down. Because as soon as that thing hits the field, I have got to start wailing on it. I cannot leave that thing up to set up a calm mind or do whatever it wants. So Tapu Bulu and Tangrowth on there. I decided not to choice my Tapu Bulu. I know that's one of the more popular sets that's on it, is either a scarf or a band. But honestly, I hate choice items. I usually end up regretting any choice items I put on my Pokemon. Gothitelle being an exception to that one, because that is one of the very good set that Gothitelle can abuse. So I decided to go for Big Root instead, so that I could try and keep the Bulu healthy with that. Combine that with the Horn Leech that it's got, obviously. And then, since we'll be dealing with Tyranitar and Heatran, I decided I would put fighting coverage and ground coverage on it as well. And then I also gave it Wood Hammer, just to make sure if I thought I needed more power on it, I could go for that instead of the Horn Leech. Alright, and then the Tangrowth set was one of my usual sets. Most of my Tangrowths are going to come with Sleep Powder, Leech Seed, and Knockoff. Not all of them do. That is one very key thing that any of my opponents who are watching this should know. I can still put whatever I want on these Tangrowths. But anyways, this specific Tangrowth, I decided I wanted to go with the one that physically attacks instead of special. Because, again, Cresselia and Suicune both set up with Calm Mind stuff. They start boosting their special defense, and I can't touch them with that Tangrowth. So, went with Power Whip version of it. We'll see how well that goes. So then, that leaves me with 3 more slots to fill. Looking at the rest of this team, it occurs to me that it doesn't actually like Blastoise that much. I mean, we've got Whimsicott, but I get a Shell Smash off, and I don't particularly care about Whimsicott as long as I've got the coverage for it. So that would leave me with Suicune and Cresselia, which I'm already compensating for on my team. So they're taken care of. So I think a Shell Smash Blastoise would actually be very useful here. One key thing that I'm going to do with this one, though, is I'm going to give it heavy-duty boots to kind of feign for the bulky Rapid Spinner that I've ran for the past few times that I've used it. So maybe it'll get Sethyas to kind of think, okay, maybe I can swap something out on this, and boom, maybe I get to set up instead. So that's at least my plan with that one. So let's see, what else could I possibly want to bring? So Sethyas doesn't have too many special attackers, but he's got enough that I kind of want something that can go in there and tank the hit. So I think I'm going to end up bringing my Galarian Slowking to this as well. This one is focused on taking hits and just giving some chip damage off, or using some shenanigans like yawning, putting them to sleep. So I think that will be a decent check to things like the Whimsicott and the Heatran. And possibly Tapu Lily if he choices his Tapu Lily into Moonblast. And Skarmory can't really do too much to it, so maybe I could pack Flamethrower on there too to cover it. So I think that will be kind of a good set on that guy. So that leaves me with 1 more slot to fill. And now, the rest of my team, Silvally I can definitely make it malleable. I can make it do whatever I need it to. The problem is that I don't think its stat distribution is going to help me all that much here. And it doesn't provide the kind of utility I think I'm going to need. The other portion that I'm thinking is a great deal of Sethyas' team is actually physical attackers. So I think being able to get Intimidates off would be better for me. So that leaves me with two options then if we go along that line of thinking. Arcanine or Scrafty. So Scrafty is kind of a hit-or-miss Pokemon with this team. Just because he could run flying type coverage on the Gyarados. And then he's got two fairies sitting there plus Cresselia who can learn Moonblast, I'm almost certain. And then we've got Sethyas' Articuno, which is a wild card. I don't know much about Articuno. I probably should look up a few more things about that before I decide anything for final. But I honestly think that Arcanine's going to do me better, because Arcanine can check Gyarados if it is not set up yet. And I can do that with both Intimidate and then hit with Wild Charge. Not to mention that Heatran also can't really touch it without having Earth Power, which it may or may not have, but I honestly don't think I've seen him run Earth Power on a Heatran before. And then it also takes on the Whimsicott, which I currently did not have any good checks to that. So I honestly think Arcanine is going to help me just a little bit better on this team matchup than Scrafty is going to. So for now, I think I will go with Arcanine. So my team for going up against Sethyas, as it stands, it would be Tangrowth, Slowking Galar, Gothitelle, Blastoise, Arcanine, and Tapu Bulu. So I think we'll probably go into this with that, and we'll see what happens. So let's see what we're dealing with today. Sethyas has brought Garchomp, Heatran, Tapu Lele, Skarmory, Cresselia, and Whimsicott. So, no Gyarados on this team, which I'm actually a little surprised at, but I do have a lot of bulky things that Gyarados probably wouldn't like too much, so maybe that might be it. Anyways, looks like I have a clear target for Gothitelle, so that's good. I was worried that he was going to bring more than one thing I would want Gothitelle for, but we can definitely work with this. So we're going to put Tapu Bulu out first and foremost, just to get the terrain going for that. So I'll either have to swap in Tapu Lele if he really wants to get rid of it that badly, or I can stomach Earthquakes. So what does Sethyas start with? Tramp. Alright. So Heatran is probably his Stealth Rock setter. Doesn't mean I really want to get into having to deal with him like that. So let's go ahead and swap to Slowking. Slowking should be able to handle any attack coming from this guy, and he can absorb any Toxics that might be coming. God, that hurt. Does tell me one thing, though. This thing is definitely not to be underestimated for its special attack stat. This might almost be a choice specs. But we're going to go ahead and yawn. So we're going to have to take that Magma Storm to the face a bit more, but I'm alright with that. Leftovers plus, not leftovers, Black Sludge plus the Grassy Terrain can deal with that. And then, alright, what are we swapping out? Luna. I am fine with this in all regards. So we're going to swap to Gothitelle, get this thing trapped, and figure out what set it's running. Light Screen. I am alright with that in its entirety. Alright, we eat a Toxic. I'm fine with that, because that means that this Cresselia can't do anything else. And the Grassy Terrain will help heal a bit of health while I'm dealing with this thing. Did I say it was going to help? I meant it was only going to help for that first turn. I was prepared for this Cresselia. At least I hope I am. Yeah, and Sethyas knows he's trapped, so he's just going ahead and go and get over it. Get it over with. Which is fine. I can't stay in here too long, though. No, the Toxic was a smart play on his part for that. But I gotta say, it was what I was expecting. I lose Gothitelle here, but that's alright. Gothitelle's done its job. So, 1 for 1, although I'm sure Sethyas is kind of alright with this. So let's go ahead and put Blastoise back in. Alright, so there's one potential problem with this. We'll have to see what it does based on the damage here. Actually, you know what? I don't really care. Let's see if we can start this. He didn't bring Suicune, which is going to be a major mistake on his part for this. And the light screen's gone. So now he's just kind of done. And now that he set up Psychic Terrain for me, I don't even have to worry about... Yep. So we're going to keep Blastoise for later. Because I do not need to take that energy ball. Okay, let's do this again. Oh, he actually kept him in. Which is a problem, because... Oh, nope, there we are. So we're just going to get this thing down as much as we can. My lord, that did not KO it. There's a surprise. But a welcome surprise. Because Slowking can handle Heatran at this point. And so can just about everybody else, I believe. Okay, there he goes. Jericho, I believe... Nope, not what I thought it was going to be. Still, it did not like that power gem. And it's going to be faster than Slowking, because everything's faster than Slowking. Or it's going to try and do that. Oh, you are kidding me. Well, whatever comes out can certainly beat it. Especially Arcanine. Though whether I'd want to or not is a different story. Yeah, damn, I did not want to get into this. Yep, there goes Jericho. Graham. Okay, we've got Rough Skin. And this is where Tangrowth comes in to shine. Because even with that, it's not going to live much more. Let's go ahead and Power Whip it. Okay, so we're at +4 for the Scarchomp, but it still has to make contact for it to actually matter. And we're going to go ahead and knock off here. And we're still alive. Oh, you are kidding me. Alright, so he can't Dragon Claw, he can't Swords Dance. If he didn't bring Poison Jab, I don't think he's doing anything to Tapu Bulu. I brought Iron Head. Okay. I am not going to like this at all, but I can just E-Speed this and be good. And he knows that, and he has nothing to swap into it for it. Meanwhile, I'm still alive. Barely. Okay, so he's expecting me to be physical. I'm fine with this. I am so glad I did not reveal Flamethrower until just now, because now he has nothing. Alright, we're going to go ahead and Wild Charge here, because this will KO him. Even if I have to take the recoil. And now all that's left is this thing. Okay, it's Encored Arcanine into Wild Charge. I'm honestly alright with that. I just don't know what he plans to do about it. Once the Encore ends, I can... Oh god, it's got leftovers. Okay, Grassy Terrain is gone. Let's see, 36 multiplied by 4, 120. 24. So yeah, no. It's either I keep up with the Wild Charge. I don't think this matters, because it's going to KO Arcanine a little bit. But ultimately, I think I should have this. Because I don't know what this Whimsicott can do to my Slowking. So is it just going to attack now? Moonblast. Alright. So Moonblast, if that's its only attacking move, is not going to help it. And we already know this thing doesn't have Focus Sash thanks to its leftovers. And Slowcane's a special attacker, so it having Charm, if it does have Charm, doesn't matter. So we're just going to straight up attack it, because I don't want to get Encored into anything else. Yep, there's the Leech Seed, which didn't hit. Ultimately doesn't matter anyways. And that right there is a good game. 1-0. Alright, post-analysis time. So, he didn't bring the Suicune, which was a major relief to me, even though I had one Pokemon slotted on my team specifically for that thing, Tapu Bulu. So, Tapu Bulu was kind of useless during that entire match, which is alright. Everything worked out because we did end up winning this match, thankfully. But yeah, Tapu Bulu was definitely a useless pick, considering he didn't bring the Suicune. Now then, my plan for Gothitelle worked absolutely amazingly, just about how I expected. I was not expecting to lose the Gothitelle, actually, though. But that I say it wasn't expected, but I also put it in the realm of possibility. So I wasn't afraid. So I'm more than happy with the performance of Gothitelle, and I'm glad it did something this battle to justify me getting it from the bids. Now, the real MVP of this battle, though, I think, outside of Gothitelle getting rid of that Cresselia, it has to be Arcanine. Arcanine tore through the rest of his team. Sure, most of my Pokemon helped in wearing them down, obviously, but without Arcanine's extreme speed and the surprise flamethrower for Sethyas towards the end there, this would have been a much more difficult battle to finish with me winning. So definitely good on that. One thing to note is that I actually made one major mistake in this. Blastoise. I could have kept Blastoise in against the Whimsicott, as I found out later from my friend. I had entirely forgotten about the Psychic Terrain at that time, and I had wanted to avoid getting Encored into a move I didn't want to use. So I swapped it out when I saw the Whimsicott. I had Ice Beam to cover it. I could have KO'd it, but I thought on the off chance that I didn't, it Encored me into that. Suddenly, my Shell Smash Blastoise was using Ice Beam against a Heatran. Not great. So that could have been played a little bit better, and I could have possibly won this a bit cleaner that way. But overall, between me and Sethyas, we both played pretty damn well, in my opinion. It was a close match, and I am very happy with the way this turned out. Well, of course I am. I won. But it was a fun match, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm glad for that. Alright, so for week 3, I am up against Regicide. Regicide is part of the Ion Game Corner Discord along with the rest of us. He's been there for a bit. He takes part in our Ion Pokemon League there. But this is his first season of doing the Bidding War League. So I am looking forward to see what he does with the Pokemon that he is drafted. And he certainly has a high-powered team that's probably going to give me a run for my money on my defenses. But that will certainly be fun for next time.